This one hurt. This one was a little painful because
Good.
if it's
true,
and that we can create with light and photons. So light is everywhere. Photons can be created by thought to become matter. Then we are creating our reality as we speak. So let's just, this is Jesus. This is the book.
The universe is mental. Is that all?
Well, unfortunately, yes, but
unfortunately,
because
we're the bearers of light. Why is that a bad thing?
because if that's true and there's no discernment in it, then we can create negative too, evil. So we can create evil.
This is that other side of the coin. That's
right. Well, here, just so the setup is the Sophia of Light is a book that was hidden for 2,000 years, and they discovered it. And I'm sorry, they knew it was written between 1st and 2nd century. And in the book, Jesus said this.
We've all been looking in the wrong place. But Jesus wasn't trapped like them because he wasn't from here. He tells them, I, who came from infinite light, am here, for I know him, light, that I might speak to you about the precise nature of the truth. So Jesus is straight up saying that he came from beyond this world, beyond this simulation, this illusion, this prison of a false reality. And then he casually drops this bombshell. I want you to know that everything that exists was brought forth from a single source of infinite light, but the world itself is polluted. So did you catch that? He just said that everything that exists, everything was born from a singularity of infinite light. Do you know how crazy this is? This is a book that's almost 2,000 years old, and Jesus was literally talking about the Big Bang thousands of years before modern science even existed. But Jesus didn't stop there. The world we live in, he's saying it's not real and that everything comes from light, but the material world is a polluted version of that something greater, purer, that's hidden from us. All right, so maybe you're thinking, okay, but this is all just a bunch of mystical mumbo-jumbo speculation, right? Well, no, it turns out that modern physics has been inching towards the exact same conclusion, except instead of calling it divine revelation, they called it quantum mechanics. Enter David Bohm, who is one of the most influential physicists of the 20th century. He took one look at reality and basically said, yeah, this is all an elaborate light show. Bohm proposed that everything we perceive as solid matter is actually born from light. Sound familiar? Bohm said, light can carry information about the entire universe. Light, by interactions of different rays, produces particles in all the diverse structures of matter. They are ripples on this vast ocean of light. This ocean of energy could be thought of as an ocean of light. Okay, think about that. The universe itself, everything you see, touch, or experience in general, it's not actually solid. It's patterns of condensed and structured light. So if it's all light, then why does it still hurt when you stub your toe? Well, Bohm described matter as frozen light. He said, all matter is a condensation of light into patterns moving back and forth at average speeds, which are less than the speed of light. In other words, everything we call physical is just light pretending to be solid, light that's been slowed down. And this aligns perfectly with what the Gnostic gospel of Jesus was saying thousands of years ago. When Jesus appeared not as a flesh and blood man, but as pure light, he wasn't just trying out a new look because he thought it looked cool. He was showing them that this world, the material world, is an illusion of light. It's part of a structured, interconnected, light-based simulation. And to make this make even more sense, I want to try a quick thought experiment. Imagine a pool of water. Well, the water represents pure light. Now imagine parts of that water freezing into ice. That ice, well, that's like matter. It's still water. It hasn't become something else. It's just a different state of the same fundamental substance. So just like ice is transformed water, matter is transformed light.
Okay. See, now that's the expression. Those are the expressions I had. Both you guys are like, what the fuck did we just see?
Where's the light coming from?
The infinite source. That's been explained to you. And me and John would easily say it's God. So this hurt. This one hurt a little bit. So we could, I'm going to stop sharing, but yeah, this one was painful to me. So if light can become matter, and then frequency is our brains have frequencies, and what we focus on, becomes reality. I'm screwing everything up. I could be doing this a lot better.
Meaning?
So, John, is the physics sound about right?
Yes. Is my video moving at all?
No, that's okay. We can still hear you, and we don't care because
Am I frozen? Okay.
You're frozen.
Yes. He's absolutely 100% correct. We do not live in a solid world when you get to the quantum, to the quanta, to the minuscule.
So see how he said that? He hurt me when he said that, the analogy of the pool. So it's all light from the infinite source. So God brings everything into existence with light, and then we turn it into matter by changing the frequency.
There is a good point there.
I guess that's alchemy.
Yeah, it is alchemy. Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it, Brian. Yeah. Because if you think about it, the elements represent every structure that we know of, right? And every element has three components. There's a neutron, electron, and a proton.
Proton, I'm sorry.
And those electrons, technically, they exist in like a halo, if you will. And that halo, when you say, for instance, like a nuclear explosion, right? That's the interaction of uranium being displaced of electrons. And what does it produce? It produces a flash of light. So it's a transference of matter to energy. And there's that little equation, E equals mc squared. So yeah, you're right. It is, when you break it down for what it's worth, it is down to, you can probably say the word light. I don't fully understand that everything is light, but everything's a particle, which depending on its frequency.
I was thinking about it as he was saying it, thinking about how frequency, right?
I'll jump off and jump on. I'll have a happier face when I come back. I'll be right back.
So do you see how that one hurt?
That's a lot to take in.
I thought so. And
a lot of light. That's a lot of light to take in.
It goes into light and dark. There you go. Much better.
So is this to say that light is frequency and vibration? Is that what that kind of means?
Yeah, there's a frequency to light, correct? And different lights have different frequencies.
Well,
so there's light we can't see in the RF,
and that's
realm.
the stuff you hear, right? The micro and the gamma, and that's all the stuff you can't see.
And that's just different. If I'm not mistaken, that's just different frequencies of light.
Correct. 100% correct.
But this is all light? That's all it is?
Because there's insects that can see beyond ultraviolet, like bees, and it gives them a way to distinguish flowers better than we can from their sight. It's kind of crazy, but it's true.
It's honed in for it, right? Yeah.
So, here's something more that's going to hurt. There's angels and demons, right? I think me and John believe in angels and demons. John, what's your belief in angels and demons?
No, there's definitely, and the thing in the Bible that got me was when this hand appeared out of nowhere. Okay. And if you think about it, even Carl Sagan talked about a being, like say we live in 2D world and a being lives in 3D world, and they happen to poke, you would see something appear out of nowhere. To them, it's fine. They're a 3D being, but us 2D beings would be like, the hell just happened? Like that's crazy.
If we were on the sheet of paper and they just came and touched our paper, where
exactly.
the hell did that come from?
Yeah, what is it? So there are multiple dimensions. That is a proof. That is a mathematical and scientific proof. Yes.
So someone said they can create a flashlight. They can see into multiple. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the same dimension, but just a frequency we can see. They can shine a light onto something to show us frequencies we can't typically see.
You're absolutely, well, that's interesting.
Right?
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Kind of breaking it into like
so it's not a different realm. It's the same realm we're in, so we can't see them.
And that would be light. Kind of breaking it into like light as like a wave and light as like a solid state.
Well, John was talking about the photons, and you said everything's, help me out there. Photons, electrons.
So protons, neutrons, electrons. Those are the three fundamental components of
everything.
Elements of an atom, I guess you can call it. But the way they behave, it's when we get down to the quantum, that's when everything gets strange. This is what's pretty cool. You ready for this one? This blew my mind. It's very relative to what you said, Michael, is that there's a belief that how something exists and then doesn't exist, exists and doesn't exist, that when you get to the quantum level, that there's the ability for particles to suddenly appear, back to that 3D, 2D example earlier, and then to disappear. And because you think of like, how did all this come into an existence? And they're actually finding, recent research is saying that there's the capability of a particle to do that, to like exist in an anti-particle world and then reappear as a physical particle, which is too much for my brain to handle.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, so
they're working on that, right?
Yeah, they're figuring
traveling
it out.
faster than light.
I can't wait till that happens, because then the monetary system will collapse.
We'll be able to meet up somewhere and then go back to our respective places instantaneously.
The hill.
I love it.
The hill.
You know about the hill?
No.
So, are you familiar with the hill, John?
That's the movie, right?
So this is a concept.
It's a concept.
I've heard some shade thrown on it, because these people call it like a real place. This was the nonverbals, I think we talked about a while back. So there's a group of like nonverbals, but they're like tapping into something that somebody else can't see, kind of thing. And I don't know if it's real or not, but they say that they go to this place in their mind, kind of, is called the hill, and they can all meet up there from different locations and kind of converse with each other and shit like that.
That's that's what do you call that? That's remote viewing. Yeah, that's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
They can go like this. They go, "Hey, listen, we're gonna meet on the dark side of the moon. Let's go," and then just be there.
Right. Yeah, I guess they have a communal place called the hill, which is weird.
Oh, that's where they go. Oh, that makes sense. Common areas.
Interesting.
So there's this one guy that got a test. He had a test, to see his cognitive ability. And they said, hey, there's they brought him in for a military exam, and they had go, tell us what's in the box 4 rooms down. He goes, a teddy bear. Stop messing with me. What's your address? The guy tells him his address. Your wife's wearing a pink polka dot dress. Call her up. What are you wearing? Pink polka dot dress. Click. All right, we got one.
If you could pass that test, that fashion, my God.
And they're doing it to kids now, and kids seem to have a better aptitude than we do.
Wow.
Kids are geniuses.
Yeah, until we fuck them up. That's right.
Well, have either of you have ever had a premonition to the point where, because that's a hotly debated topic too. Some people feel that premonitions aren't real.
Like me,
that it's just kind of a culmination of all your thoughts, and it kind of focuses itself. Whereas that, I don't know.
I would for me, I can't say I had a premonition about an event, but I can't tell you thousands of times I was thinking about somebody and then they call. John, I've done that a couple times. Hey, what John's up to? Oh, I'll find out in 3 seconds. I mean, I'm not kidding. But anything beyond that, like I can't premonition about anything that's going to happen as an event.
I think that same thing is the hope of people when they try to use prayer. Because they said this a while back, and I've seen some loony people talk about, but like how you can pray for somebody on one side of the planet and it'll reach them on the other.
Yeah, prayer is instantaneous.
But it's kind of the same thing, though, in that connected state right there, right?
And I think you said something a little while that hurt me too. Was someone said Jesus never healed anybody. He always said, "By your faith you are healed." Only one time in the good book he said, he goes, well, in one time in the good book, you said, something about his faith. But everybody else, do you have faith that you can be healed? Not that I can heal. Do you have faith that I can heal you?
I've chewed on that for years now, actually. Because you
mentioned that a little while ago, and it kind of hurt.
Yeah, because, well...
Now think about this. If the light comes from the infinite source, we have faith in whatever happens. Can we create can we literally create matter? Look at
Create
the
matter?
Jedi there. Create matter. Seriously, create matter.
I
Like
don't
something
think
wasn't here.
matter.
I don't know how many stories I've heard of someone saying,
I don't think we can create matter.
that's where I'm debating.
Well, because they say everything is here, has been here, right? So you don't create anything. If anything, we do like an alchemy situation, but
Well,
Alchemy.
what about like a virtual
there's
reality
like
world?
combining things that make a thing, right? Like everything is here. We don't create anything, right?
But what about like virtual reality?
I'm
Is that
more than certain we're in
considered
the
creating?
simulation than anything I've ever seen in my life lately.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
No,
agree
we
with
mean
that
by
100%.
virtual, like that's already a
Like-
made thing. You mean like
No.
the internet, essentially?
Well, like if you, okay, for instance, if like our real world, our tangible world, things we can touch and build and play with
Right.
and what have you and stub our toe on. And then there's that has, like you said, Brian, that all that material already existed. We just happened to compound it a certain way to make it into whatever. But when you think of like a virtual world and you're creating, you know, hills and streets and houses and what have you, I mean, is that kind of where you're going, Michael? Because that is in essence,
Well, if
I
you
mean,
Hey, this was that thing that almost took off that died, wasn't it? There were like digital art and what's all that other stuff? God damn
NFTs,
it!
NFTs.
Yes.
You guys, give me a quick second. I got to use the restroom. Back in 2 seconds.
absolutely. No problem. Brian, how you been, man? What's on your what's been on your mind? You've got a lot going on upstairs, bro.
Everything.
What's the big one?
Elon's trying to save the world.
Are you saying that for real or sarcastically or
No,
just
I mean it for real right now. Like so he's talking big stuff on X because he wants to give legal money to people in England to kind of sue their own government for not protecting them with a lot of this grooming rape gangs and all this other stuff. So he wants to actually provide legal aid to a lot of people in UK and stuff now, I guess, which is putting his money where his mouth is, which is a huge deal because they are invaded. They're getting outpopulated as we speak. They just their leaders look the other way for all these grooming rape gangs that have been going on for like 15 years now over there.
can
You
you
remember
elaborate?
there's this famous image of the Scottish girl with the knife and all that. You seen that?
I may have, but can you elaborate a little bit
she's
on that?
coming to it's like a kid out there. She had to defend herself. So there's like a 10, 12-year-old Scottish girl with a big ass knife and stuff in the other picture. And it's almost to the point where like she needs these things in her life. Because
dude, if anybody defends themselves, I fucking love it. I love it on a level
that's what we
you
were
can't
talking
imagine.
about. He's asking me what big thing is on my mind, and that's kind of it right now. Is Elon's trying to save the world? He's trying to give legal money, I think, to like people of UK and stuff, so they can kind of go after their own government for not protecting them. As they say in the meme that I kind of throw around, they say, "Damn, I'm gonna butcher it. I don't want to butcher it."
It's okay. Paraphrase.
There it is. A government not protecting its people is an act of treason.
Ooh, brilliant. Said that before.
And I think it's something to the effect of like a government allowing an invasion as an act of war.
Well, that goes back to the rudimentary question is, well, what is a government's job? Right?
Oh, isn't that it? I was listening to somebody earlier today who was talking. He's like, if the government has no other job, it's to protect the border. I was like, yeah, that's kind of it, isn't it? If you have only one job as a government, that's kind of it. Like, okay, we can get our own food. We can do all that. What we need you for is to protect the border. That's really what we need you for. We can do our
Well, but
in-house fighting and our in-house bullshit, and we'll find food or whatever, right? But that's
We'll
the
make the
thing,
roads. We'll build the buildings.
right?
can I do my best to quote a very famous man that deals in real estate and housing and all that? He once said that all of his assets are protected by the strongest military in the world.
We have
All
the
right,
we have the
Mike?
safest. I have the safest asset on the planet. I have the
That gentleman
safest
Well,
right
asset
there.
on the planet. Yeah, I have the safest assets on the planet. All my
well,
assets are protected by the fucking
come
most
back. It's
fearsome,
coming back
the
to
most fearsome, war-torn, warmongering, angry psychopaths. Period. My favorite line is by one of the greatest psychopaths. What was his name? Not War Dog. Mad Dog. Mad Dog. He just goes, when you see the U.S. Marines coming, I'll come to you. And he was the leader of the U.S. Marine Corps. He goes, I'll come to you with tears in my eyes, begging you, please agree. Please agree. Because when I come back, I'm going to come back with the most fearsome just warriors you've ever seen that I can't stop. Because once I turn them on, I can't turn them off. And he he made it terrifying. Like he almost can't control them. And you ever hear any of the Marine Corps stories?
All of them. But there's a Chesty one. I might have. I don't know. But there's a Chesty story, I think it is. He says, as long as we have the 1st Marine Division, America will be safe.
He had I forgot what island it was, but it was not in Okinawa, between Okinawa and
Iwo Jima, maybe.
It wasn't Iwo Jima. It was an island, and the general in charge, the Japanese soldier in charge of protecting that island, said 1 million men can't take this in 1,000,000 years, in 1,000 years. No, 1 million men can't take this island in 1,000 years. The Marine Corps brought 4,000 people, and 3 days later took the island.
That sounds like an Iwo Jima type story.
It was one of the islands, but it was just one that he was in charge of. And he goes, when we saw them coming across the water, they looked like spiders. And you can't stop them. And then I remember one of the stories was this fat electrician. Hats off to the fat electrician, tells his crazy cool stories about the military. And he said one of them, what was it? Oh God, I'm getting it. They made a movie of it.
You're talking about
Hamburger Hill?
You're talking about
No, it's an island.
Talking about the tankers, aren't you?
No. So right when World War II broke out, there was an island that we gave up. We just basically gave up, and it was like 400 Marines and like 600 CBs, which was construction guys. And they held the island for days, took out ships, everything, till they just ran out of ammo, and they thought they were going to die, right? Because and John knows this better than anybody. You know, in World War II, it was still the Bushido Code. They don't take prisoners. It's you fight to death.
This was the Japanese story, then.
The Japanese story. Iwo Jima. Thank you, Iwo Jima. They made a movie of it, and then they said everybody died. They brought them to they after they killed, like, I think it was 6-1 and 3 ships with like 4 airplanes and a bunch of CDs and just the least amount of people you could possibly have to fight anything. And when they were done, they got taken away to concentration camps and brought back after the war. And they were surprised, like, people lived? You guys were wiped out. And he goes, you guys made a movie? Did you make a movie about us? Where's the dog? We didn't have a dog. It was hilarious. But yeah,
my
the US
brother
Marine Corps is the most dangerous force. And you know what? The U.S. Air Force, Navy, Marines, Space Force, and Coast Guard keep all of my real estate 100% safe. 100% safe. There's been two bombings, one in New York and one in Hawaii, right? But Hawaii wasn't really the property; it was more the boats. So really, one time in our entire existence, that's 100%, baby. And it wasn't another military that got our buildings. No other militaries invaded us.
This is tapping into like rights, though.
Oh, agreed. So is our country a right or a privilege?
Well, in the end, you really only have the right to what you can enforce.
Well, now
the rights don't exist without force.
Correct. But who's you?
Well,
remember talking about self-defense, which I
depends.
appreciate wholeheartedly.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, you call 911 to clean up the mess, not to prevent the crime.
If I'm calling 911, someone's breaking into my house, I'm going to be calling them up for the paramedics.
No, I'm saying like that's force. So you see the force.
Oh, I agree. I mean, without force, you can't. Without force doctrine, you can't have a civilized nation.
Without force, I'm thinking without force, you can't have rights.
Okay, John, what do you think?
Because you have to be able to defend it, protect it.
Yeah. I mean,
in a civilized, used to be a common way of life, society, right? Everybody used to know that.
But in a civilized society, whatever that means these days.
Yeah, that's a fact.
People are.
That's the funniest thing you said this week.
I know.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Whatever the fuck that means.
We're supposed to respect each other's property and what have you. In other words, if my neighbor walks down the sidewalk, I have no fear that he's going to come walking in my house and steal everything. You know what I mean? That's a civilized society.
But these are assumptions.
These are assumptions, and I don't need to force. But the idea is that he's probably thinking, if he broke in my house, there's hell to pay. You know how that goes. So there's the force part. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
This someone else.
Both my brother was in the Marines during Vietnam, and my brother-in-law was a Marine during the Vietnam War, and both of them have scars and bullets embedded in them still, and what have you. And it's like you were talking about, their mentality. They were from the mentality of when
that's old school.
It was beyond, like they broke you, they shattered you, and then remolded you into being that type of person you were describing. Yeah. But now
a legit
soldier, I think they were worse.
No,
I think
there's
mentally
a big distinction right here. There are soldiers, and then there are Marines.
Correct. Yes, that's what Brian. Brian, you said it perfectly. You're perfectly well said.
Yes, it is a completely different definition.
And nowadays the Marine Corps.
You know what it is? I can actually tell you what it is now that I'm thinking about it. It is so someone in the army will be a soldier. They come into contact. They look to defend. They look to get people on the radio. They look to corral troops. They look to do these kinds of things. To where somebody in the Marines gets in contact, they're going to try to go after those people and kill them. It's a very different mindset, though, between so we're in contact, somebody defend the thing and get everybody in place, and when the Marines are getting in contact, where's he at?
The Marines act on what I call default aggression.
A default aggressive.
Default aggression. They will walk around. They will patrol. They'll drink all night. Get up and do patrols and carry a rucksack a mile, do a 7-minute mile. Mind their own business. The second they get shot at, they turn into a different organism.
Well, it's like an attack dog.
Yeah, it's like a different organism.
That's why they say that's why you said the thing about not being able to control.
Well, he puts them on patrol.
Once you let him loose,
he puts them on patrol. That's what he does. I go watch this, and then when this breaks out, and it's a real simple. Here's the beauty of the U.S. military. Period. They cannot. There's only 2 ways they can attack: presidential, congressional orders, or be fired upon. So until you fire upon U.S. military, they will be at a standstill or docile position. The second you do, I've heard someone say a base got attacked in Iraq, and one of the military generals called up the Russian counterpart and said, "Hey, someone's bombing us, someone's mortaring us." And the reply was, "There are no troops in that area." Saying there's no
No,
Russians.
I
He goes,
know
there
this
are no
story.
troops.
I know this
You
story.
know this story? There are no troops
Yeah.
in this area. And he goes, copy. And so they set off everything we had to the area. And then when they were done 12 hours later, an hour and a half from being bombed, they started bombing for 12 hours. When they got done, they sent a recon plane, drone, and they said, what does it look like? He goes, moon-like. And then the general calls back the Russian military and says, confirm there are no troops in that area.
Well, you were right.
We made you right.
Yep.
We made you 100% honest.
He said, I concur.
I concur. There are no Russian troops in that area. You're right. There are no troops in that area. In that point.
Can I share a quick story? My brother-in-law told me when he was in Vietnam, they were going through a trail. There was a platoon of them going through a trail, and they had made camp. They had cleared the area, made camp, and when they got up, they basically, checked their population. They do a count of soldiers, correct? And one was missing. And there was a little bit of a mini search for him. Somebody found him. Apparently, the Viet Cong had somehow gotten him, slit his throat, pulled him up on a tree, and tied him to a tree, cut off his member, put it in his mouth as a signal to the rest of them, this is what's going to happen to you. Now, most human beings would go, I'm out of here. I'm not playing with this. This is their territory.
Not
what ended up
Corps.
happening is my brother-in-law said that they got so wound up about it that it was like, when they say this area is clear, like you were describing, Mike, they cleared everything. And the sad part was, if you really think about it, didn't matter, citizens, children, women, grandmas, whatever, they literally wiped everything out and set everything on fire and pretty much got rid of any inkling of any threat. And that's the kind of mentality that they had to adopt, and it's sad. It's very sad because
it really is. It really is sad.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
But,
but I mean, at the same time, it's kill or be killed, and that's why I don't know. I passed the ASVAB test. I was going to be a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. Didn't work out. My mom wanted nothing for me
to do with it. Well, she put
No,
two in there.
no.
She wasn't.
What's that?
She had two in there. She put her.
My other brother was in the Navy in Vietnam, and my two brothers, one was a Marine, the other was in the Navy, both Vietnam. My brother-in-law was also in the Marine Corps, and my other brother-in-law was in the Air Force, all Vietnam War, and none of them want anything to do with it after that. And
well, it was it's hell. War is hell. It's the definition of hell on earth.
Yeah.
And those guys that the guys that come back and can't function in society should be taken care of.
Yeah.
We should create a society for them to function in.
It's pretty crazy. So
should create a
and that all comes back to it's it's like we're talking about force. You're talking about force and tying it into, I guess you could say, like instilling. Would you say instilling laws, or how did you put that? You said in order to have rights, you need force. Is that what you said, Brian?
Well, you can't have rights without force.
You can't have rights without force.
In the end, the only thing you have rights to is what you have the ability to defend. Everybody forgets about this because we rely on the state so much because they have the monopoly on violence now. But I mean, in my head, Maybe it's just the way I grew up, and I just see colonial in my head all the time, all the time, all the time. I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, why the fuck do I do this so much? I had to think about it. It was from when I was younger or whatever. But it's just this mentality that it's just us. It's just us. Nobody's coming. It's just us. And that is such a healthier mindset, I swear to God, to have. Because how many people today be like, oh no, trouble, let me call the police. And like I said to you a minute ago, they usually get called to clean up the mess, not to prevent the crime.
Well, that's if someone were to come, you know.
You like that, Johnny? It's just us. It hits home, right?
That's a good way to put it, man.
It's just us.
We've got a lot of
we are all we got, so let's make it happen.
We've got a lot of infrastructure help. We got a lot of military help. We got a lot of police officer help if we need it. The operative word is if we need it.
Whatever.
What do you guys think about break-ins? What do you think about people that break in?
Castle doctrine. Fuck them.
Someone said, what happens if someone breaks in your house? They go, well, odds are they're not going to leave. I'm just saying, no, the odds are they're going to leave.
Well, make sure you shoot them dead, so you don't want to be paying.
I know I don't need a gun to kill somebody, but that's not my point. Is that odds are, And then someone said,
use the right tool.
You're going to say their life. Someone was trying to debate me on this. Their life is more important than your stuff. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. The criminals.
You said that their life is more important than my stuff.
So if I were to kill somebody, someone said somebody said, you're telling the world that their life is more important than your stuff.
It's less important.
More. Because I'm taking it.
No, it's less important. That's why I'm taking it.
Well, he's saying the perspective of the people that are arguing that they're comparing a person's life to material items.
Is saying that his life is worth less than my stuff. And I'm saying, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the guy that broke in thinks his life is worth more than my stuff.
Well, that's the old sign, right? There's nothing in here worth your life.
Right.
That's well put, sir. Well
that is a great one. You know what I saw was hilarious?
Welcome to Florida.
A big sign. This is somebody just not liking his neighbor. And it had an error. I couldn't believe I saw the sign. If I find it, I'll send it to you guys. And it said, hey, I just want to let you know my neighbor doesn't believe in guns. And if anything happens to his house, I'll respect his opinion and not bring mine over
there. I like this one from forever ago. I wanted it. I don't think I ever got it, but it said, that door you just kicked in, that was for your protection, not mine. Back
in the 80s, they had a revolver, and it just,
Do you feel lucky?
And it said, welcome to Detroit. Now go home.
Yeah.
You guys will like this one.
Your life, buddy. Nothing in here worth
Nothing's in here worth your life.
But my mother-in-law. I've had a conversation with somebody about the property thing recently. And I've had to reflect on it, and I still stand firm in it. Because that's what it was. There was an incident with one of these Space Guard Coast guys, whatever the hell he was. It was an officer.
Space Force?
You see about? Yeah. He got in trouble because there was some people that were hijacking cars, and so he ended up shooting at the people that were hijacking cars. Turns out one of them was like 14 or something. I don't know if somebody got hit. I think he might have killed one actually. But it's like, and then people are kind of, is it just, is it not, in that weird area, right? But I mean, if personal property, as far as I know it in writing and as I feel it, is protectable by death. I mean, personal property is no joke. Personal property, and as it's written, I believe, like you could steal somebody's sheep, and that might be the reason that they starve this winter.
Mm.
So it could be on a drastic level.
Get by the winter.
Well, sheep, cow, I don't know, just like that could be what
Isn't
you were
is it,
counting on to get you through.
for me, it's the idea of trying to come into my house,
Yeah, you've already
not
fucked up on
valuing
so
your
many
life,
levels once you've gotten to there. Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
you don't understand everybody, and if you think coming into my house is acceptable in any way, shape, or form without my invitation, is to me insane.
Yeah.
And I don't,
Yeah.
like my grandfather said a long time ago, people treat you the way you let them.
Get what you settle for.
Well, that's a good one too. I like your analogies, because mine are like sentences. Yours is like 2 or 3 words.
Pithy.
Pithy, baby.
I'm
Pithy.
telling you,
My
it's the way my brain
mother-in-law
works.
dated my mother-in-law dated when she after her divorce, she dated an older Japanese man. He was a successful businessman around here, and he invited me over to his house. He had a collection of swords, katana swords, believe it or not,
Here's
authentic
John's
ones. That's
birth
what he.
of
How old were
sword
you?
loving.
Oh, this was about 25 years ago.
Okay,
So,
so you were well into martial arts by then, too.
oh yeah, went
Okay.
into his house. I was totally like a little fanboy of all the swords he had. He actually deals in authentic Japanese swords. He translates. He speaks fluently English and
Does that mean
Has
Japanese.
he ever
katana?
seen Miramushu's swords?
Believe it or not, he's been to Japan so many times back and forth, and he's such a well-regarded. He actually gets paid to fly there to assess swords.
Swords.
They pay his way. They pay him also like a whatever. But I was at his house, and he had
Wow.
just gobs and gobs of swords, right? But the funny thing was, he showed me his bedroom, and he said, "What do you see in my bedroom?" He goes, "I got all these swords, but what do you see in my bedroom?" And I saw this like stick about this long, and on the end of it, it had a very, very sharp point. It was like a triangle on the very
Like
end
a
of it,
broadhead?
like a broadhead, but it was like razor sharp. And
Mm.
I said, "What is that?" He goes, "That is a spear, Japanese spear." He says, "It's weighted perfectly." He goes, "If someone breaks in my house and they make their way to my room," he goes, "I'm an old man. I won't necessarily get up." He says, "But I know exactly where my door is. My eyes will be adjusted." And he goes, "My first weapon is that." He grabs it and he said, "I'm gonna throw." He goes, "I've practiced." He goes, I will throw that damn thing right at that person, and I promise you, if it hits that person, there's gonna be blood everywhere." And it's interesting, you know what I mean? Because most people. Oh, did we lose Mike?
No, I'm still here. I just had to shut off the screen for a second.
Gotcha.
There you go.
He, and I said, "Do you have any guns or anything like that?" He says, "No, no, I got plenty of swords and I got the spear." And I was like, this dude is living like back in the feudal era. You know
Samurai
what I mean?
days.
Yeah, yeah. But he said that they'll never hear a gun cock or, anything play around. He goes, "I quietly grab it," and he goes, "I
Oh,
throw it."
yes.
And he said, "Look, good luck to them, because if it hits them, it's over." And I agree with
Oh,
him, man.
come on now. I have always said that the most terrifying sound for someone breaking into a house is if you hear
Uh-huh.
that shotgun rack, that
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you were breaking into somebody's house and you
yeah,
just heard that noise, you
yeah.
better get the fuck out.
Yeah, agreed, agreed, totally
That is
agreed.
the most terrifying sound.
Yeah, yeah. Or chambering a
It's so
bullet with a pistol.
universal. Yeah,
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 because my
yeah.
45, I've got one in there. It's not chambered yet, but I swear it's like if I'm in a dream state, I don't want to like grab a gun that has a bullet in it. I want to be able to have to hit a safety and chamber
That's
one. That's
fine.
two
Yeah,
actions.
yeah.
I figured if I'm sleepy, I won't be able to do both actions.
So you want to make sure you're in your right mind before you get there.
I
You
practiced.
could just do it with the one, just have it chambered, but with the safety on. That'd be fine, probably.
Yeah, but I've heard of things, you know what I mean? I feel like safety's nothing. Chambering's that noise you were talking about. Hopefully they hear that and that's good enough. And if they don't
Dude,
react to it,
a
I will make them react.
a pistol chambering is close, but there's nothing like that sound, dude.
I
Because
get it.
if I hear a pistol, I'm like, yeah, I got mine too. But if I hear a shotgun, I'm like, walls are gonna start being removed. It's like
What caliber of gun do you have, or guns?
I got a shotgun. I got a 40. I got a couple other things, but that's
Okay,
kind of my main. That's my main things. I don't even
'cause I
have
got
a
an
rifle right now.
older bolt action shotgun that
That's a pump.
yeah,
That's a
and
pump.
quite honestly, the 45 I've got an aluminum front door, and
Mm.
if it gets ugly, that gun's gonna be right against that aluminum door. I promise you, that bullet will go through it and keep going. It's crazy. It's crazy to
But
think
that's
that way, but
still
sometimes you got to think that way.
that's not crazy to be prepared. So somebody lied to you.
I just don't like the idea of spending time in jail if things go wrong. But I don't want
Well, what do they say? It's better to be judged by 12 than carried by
carried
6.
by 6. Yeah, I get it.
Judged by 12 and carried by 6. Well, people. So
Telling you, man, that
I feel that we
shotgun
have.
racking. When you were racking a shotgun, dude, there is no. The only other sound I think I like more is the grand ping. Ping! You know that empty shit? But
Yes,
damn,
sir.
dude.
Yes, sir.
That's a game-changing sound, no doubt.
By far and away.
Yeah.
It's
The
the
God, I wish I
impact
remember
of
this
that
guy's
noise
name.
is just
There's this one guy that he was a Navy SEAL, and he became a UFC fighter, and he fought for the championship. I forgot this guy's name. Please, somebody in the comments remember his name. And he told
You
the
talking
story how
about Tim Kennedy?
I think that's it. Yeah,
He's
I
not a
think that's it.
SEAL. He was a beret, I believe. But
Beret
yeah.
or something. He was in the special forces. He was in the arms.
Or something. Tell those guys that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I apologize to all of them listening. So,
Woo!
he literally he said ISIS after he got out. He said ISIS. He found out ISIS was after him. So he went on one of the newscasts. He had a friend on the newscast and gave him his address. He said, "Come get me." And his wife was like, "I'm leaving because you want to play this." He goes, "I was hunting them for years. And if they're going to come at me at my house," he goes,
Yeah, that
"I'll
sounds
be
like
more
some
than
Tim
happy
Kennedy
to. I'll be
stuff.
more than happy to accommodate them." And then then his wife finally came back. He had his house set up. He really knew what he was doing too. And he found somebody coming to the house, walking up to the house, trying to get in the doors and windows. And his wife's like, "I'm scared." And he's like, "I'm excited." He goes,
Party
he was
time.
okay. He was okay until he started jiggling his son and daughter's bedroom. He goes, "I'm out." And so he went outside, and all the guy heard was the back of the head click, and he pulled back the hammer. That's all he heard. And he goes, he dressed him down, made sure he wasn't in anything, tied him up, went to his car and saw a shovel and some items for taking care of people. And then he interrogated him and then handed him over to the police. All he heard was of the hammer coming back.
The
That's
hammer
all he heard.
cocking.
Yeah. And he turned around and saw that dude. He's like, "Hey man, why don't you get on your knees?"
Well, every man in America should be that ready.
Well, is it a waste of time? How often do people break in, and where do they break in? I go for the
Who
odds.
cares? This is the whole thing behind your home martial arts career.
know-
How often are you going to use it?
Do you guys know anybody that you've met, you've shaken their hand that they'd been broken into?
And what? They're shaking their hand.
You've
What?
shaken their hand and known that they've been broken into. I haven't met anybody, and I met a lot of people. John, who have you met?
How could you
My
tell?
nephew.
They told you.
They told you. You shook their
Yeah.
hand and you could tell they were broken in. Is
So
that what
there's
you're saying?
what I'm trying to say is people you meet and then people you hear stories of. So I've heard a bunch of stories, but I've never met the people.
I met somebody who's done the deed. So
Someone
to speak.
that's been broken into.
Oh, somebody whose house has been broken into.
While they were in it.
Yeah, well, that's when you learn that there's no price on peace of mind, huh?
Right, but we got 3 people here, and John's the only one that knows. John, tell us the story.
Yeah, it was my sister's house, and their family was basically upstairs, like an upstairs thing, and somebody broke in downstairs. And it's funny because when somebody's stealing stuff, like I don't know if I can totally like describe, criminal mindset, but this particular mindset was grab and get the hell out of there. There's people there that go in and take captive people and go through the whole, drag them to an ATM kind of stuff. It wasn't like that. It was someone that broke in,
Hit and run.
stole a few things and got caught and started heading out the door. And I thought for sure my sister and her family were going to move out of there. They didn't, which was strange. I would have.
So they
I
didn't
just
get upstairs?
no. When someone came downstairs, they caught them in the act and they took off. They basically broke the door and ran in, grab, hey, what are you doing? And took off. So I'm sure there's people that break in your house that have ill intent. They're going to take you captive.
Well, you can't run from danger like that. Like, there's a lot of talk about this anymore as far as like how modern women view the world, right? I say it that modern women don't really they treat danger like it's something that happens to other people. And so then modern men aren't seen as the protector because they think the state will protect them. But as I said a few minutes ago, the state does the cleaning up, not the protecting, really,
So here's a question for you. Then why do women think, so when you say modern, we're talking anywhere from 16 to 29.
Just the modern mindset.
Well, that's the age. It's really not the modern, it's the age group. I've noticed the age group, the younger age group. Someone said, would you rather, to those women, would you rather meet a random man in the woods or a bear?
Yeah, the bear thing.
The majority of women are picking bears now. The younger women are picking bears. Older women that have a brain are saying,
John's probably so far from the loop on these topics, huh? Yeah.
No, I'm sure he deals with a bunch of nurses and stuff. He gets it.
True, but they're probably not talking about this stuff.
Yeah, my wife would often hold like women's self-defense classes, and I would try to get in the
she's
mindset
good
of
too.
it's like, she really is. And what we found was I came to the conclusion, this is interesting. Tell me if you guys concur. It's almost impossible to teach in like 2 hours to teach a female to make a proper fist to hit somebody. Instead, what we do is we teach harder objects because you could pinch the shit out of your elbows, right? And then knees.
That's what I'm talking about.
But the most important, I felt like after years and years and years of doing this, well, mindset, agreed, but also to have mace.
Obviously.
Mace. Just freaking
seems like
mace.
An easy go-to.
Mace, mouth, face, something anywhere nearby. Hit them and get the hell out of there. That to me is like a game. It's a game changer, man. It's not a gun. It's non-lethal. It's very effective. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, they got a lot of non-lethal means out there. There was like, I was showing my friend, I think there was like this baton I was looking at when I was out in like St. Augustine. I think it had like 900,000 volts running through it. I was I need this. I need
might
this.
Work. That might work, brother. I think you're right. Little cattle prod, huh?
Oh, dude, he messed somebody up with that kind of voltage, man.
that is nasty.
John came to my school from Chicago, or from where he lives in Illinois, to Lake Orion, Michigan one time to do a breaking seminar. And someone at the seminar asked him, and it's John Zurist. I mean, he's got more belts than anybody I know. Belts meaning, so a belt is, so I get trophies when I got 3 belts. John's got 30 belts and 3 trophies. So a belt is after you win everything, there's a belt at the end, and it's called the Ultimate Breaker, and he's got the most ultimate breakers that I know of.
Before.
And he came to our school, and someone said, Master Zurist, what would happen if someone were to come at you? And he said, the greatest thing I've ever seen to one of my students in my life, he goes, I would call the police.
Yeah.
Just by saying, hey, listen, there's somebody over here who's in a black shirt. They'll typically get out of your way.
It's true.
I thought that was brilliant. That is fighting.
Let's thinking with your head, not with your heart, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
but John,
kind. I'll say that.
John's 6'4", 2 something, and
It's
could
not the
kill you by looking
point.
at
It's
you.
not the point. It's not the point.
That's my point. Is he was using his brain instead of his
You'll
incredible
see
brawn.
this from like top level dudes. I even thought about this again recently, like someone like a Jocko, right?
Oh yeah.
You
Well,
think
Jocko
that
likes to fight.
but you think that
He
somebody
does.
like him would say that.
does like
He
to
would
fight.
say
No, he
that
likes
to
to
get
fight.
involved. No, I'm gonna
He
teach
likes
these
to fight.
motherfuckers a lesson and this and that, right? But no,
No,
he teaches to break contact as soon as you can. If you can run, run. Don't engage until you have to. These things, right?
Jocko, I almost fought Jocko one time. I told you about that, didn't
Yeah, right.
I? I did.
No, it's true. Yeah, I could back
Yeah.
that up.
Almost only counts of horseshoes and hand grenades.
No, so we were at let me tell you this story. This is a great Jocko story.
Wait,
I met
remember this
Jocko
story.
at a real estate investment, and they had the guest speaker, and the guy that ran the place was a U.S. Marine pilot, and so he was excited to have Jocko, come speak at his event. And so Jocko comes there, and then one of the guys was not a fighter, great guy, just a great guy, great businessman, just not a fighter. And he got off the main table and said, "Mike, you want to go sit down?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I go sit down, and I'm sitting there with Jocko, and I don't know how it came up. We were talking, and I go, "Yeah, I love to fight too." And he looks at me, and he's like talking to everybody. I like fighting. I go, "Yeah, I like to fight too." He goes, "What do you do?" I go, "At the time, I was a fourth degree in martial arts and a yellow belt in judo." And he goes, "I would love to roll with you," which means just roll around on the mat with judo. "I would love to roll with you." And he goes, "Anytime, anywhere." I go, "Well, this is a cement floor." And he's like, "Anytime." He's like,
No, he's down like that. He is, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Got some mats? Where do you work out?" And he goes, "I forgot the judo place or the jiu-jitsu place in San Antonio, or not San Francisco, not San Francisco. Where's
San Diego,
the Marine?
Victory.
Huh?
Victory.
Victory. Thank you.
San
San
Diego.
Diego. Thank you.
Diego.
And we were in San Diego at the time. And he goes, "Victory, Thursday night." I said, "I'll try and make it there." And he goes like this. And this is people in like, not suits, but
Business casual.
Business casual. Everybody at the table is millionaires. And he goes like this: "I like choking people the fuck out." And he gets up and walks away. There's a girl sitting next to me. That's just just go, wait. Let me wrap that up for you.
Pearl clutching.
Yeah, and I go, "Let me wrap that up for you." I go. There's many ways to submit people in martial arts. There's arm bars, there's leg locks, there's all kinds of ways to take somebody out. He likes choking people out. I just saw another thing come by again. He said, "I like choking people out," and he's just choking people out, and you tap and he lets go. Hopefully, she just go. She almost peed herself. By the way, it was hilarious.
She wasn't ready.
That's somebody that doesn't understand martial arts.
What a gift to get your ass kicked in that way, huh?
I wish I would have. My big problem was 2 or 3 weeks later, I was going to the U.S. Open, and I'd worked out for 3 or 4 months. Ate right, exercised. If it was 3 weeks after the Open, I would have fucking ran over. I would have probably done it in front of everybody. I would have got my ass handed to me. I would have got my ass handed to me easily. I'm a yellow belt in judo. I would have had my ass handed to me.
He's
But I
also
would have had my
gorilla.
ass handed to me by Jocko Willink.
Well, he's also a gorilla.
Well, he is a gorilla, but he doesn't. I saw a dude fight him, and then 2 minutes went up, and nobody won. Nobody got a point. I'm like, so there's people out there that can do it.
It happens.
I think he's only a black belt too.
I'm sure he's very technical too, but he's a fucking beast of a human, man.
Oh, absolutely. But who would you want defending our fucking country? I want him running the military.
I don't know.
He's not like John. He's not big brawn. He's also brilliant.
Mm-hmm. His mind.
He's brilliant.
Very.
I can give you stories. I can give you stories.
Huh?
I can give you stories.
Give me one.
So, Ramadi is his big claim to fame, right? Over in Iraq.
Wow, it was the most dangerous place on the planet for 4 to 6 years, I think.
At the time, yeah. But so when a place is a very dangerous place, most people want to kind of move around low key if possible. You know, we were doing operations. We don't want to stir up anything more than we have to. And apparently he was that asshole. So he was that asshole that I would just guess in the morning, right? That he's cranking up the American flag in the middle of Ramadi during the most intense fighting that they have going on. But you would
why?
think, let's stay low profile, let's move around.
But
He's like,
why?
nah, fuck
Why?
everybody. This going up right here, right now.
But why would he do that? Think about that. Why would he do that?
You could say metaphorically he's planting a flag, but he's really planting a flag.
He's putting a stake in the ground, and then he's going to protect it, and then he's going to go out from that. I mean, that's a plan.
Staking claim. We're not fucking around.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word.
You know
Staking
exactly
claim.
why we're here, and I'm proud to say
and
why
then
we're
if
here.
anybody has any problems and they're American, they run to that flag. I mean, there's a purpose that he does. Everything he does is beyond.
It's the chaos that doing something like that causes with the local people, with the local forces, with the local everything, right?
Yeah,
the ISIS running around, all the other groups running around. You know that's gonna piss them the fuck off.
You know what piss him off? You know what piss him off more? Putting a cross up there.
No, that was it. That was the move right there. But it's just like this, come get me, bitch. What are you gonna do?
Well, they tried, dude. They tried many times.
That's what it's like. And like this type of shit is like that's why
did you read the book?
Leading the country thing.
Yeah, did you read the book?
That attitude right there, that's why.
Did you read the book about extreme ownership?
No, I just listened to him talk about it for years.
Dude, he has this one part of the book is it's the greatest display of leadership I've ever seen in my life, period, by far and away. It's just, if not first, second. There's two defining moments of great leadership. So he was in charge of Ramadi, and then
I know what you're talking about.
What?
Blue on blue.
Blue on blue. So I did tell you that one. John, did you hear that one?
No, I told you. I've listened to it for years, man.
Okay. You heard about the blue on blue?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so when he brought everybody back together and he started talking about it, he said, he goes, whose fault was it? You know, and all his subordinates were like, it was my fault. I didn't call this in. You know, it was my fault. I didn't do this. It was my fault. I didn't do this. It was my fault. I didn't do. He goes, no, it's my fault. I'm in charge of this. It all ends up with me. So there's going to be a lot more strategic. And he goes, once I did that, his bosses were there. His superiors were there. You know, and he admitted he did wrong. And he goes, there's going to be some changes. They're going to be implemented quickly, and you guys are going to listen. Do you guys understand that? And I said, yes, sir. And so he had to know everything on the battle every time he sent his guys out. Well, to take extreme ownership over something like that, that's a leader that we need.
This is the problem with politics.
You guys got to understand now, this is a whole different game. That type of warfare is going bye-bye. Everything is unmanned drones and what have you. There's the latest jet has no pilot in it. Yeah. And no. And
I mean,
it's getting to the point.
Like leadership is leadership, no matter, you know.
But I'm saying, like, what is the most dangerous thing out there?
The human.
Well, the human, but I mean, in terms of like, you know, a gun is the reach of a gun. If you've got something that's a small drone, like they're talking about using AI in drones now, where a drone can follow you without, you know, you don't pay attention, but it's paying attention to you. It maps your route to work. It knows, and at some point it can go after you. It could drop something on you. It could. So that's going to be the thing that people are really going to be afraid of in the future. They're talking about like police,
maybe,
you know, being able to find criminals. Like once a criminal's identified, it basically keep a drone on them or drones. And the idea there is, you know, you got them. You can't lose them. They're caught. So like things in the future, they're going to then develop that into the military. You know, where you instead of sending out soldiers to attack the enemy. No, they do. It's true, but it's going to become more and more elevated and evident. I think I really do.
Maybe.
Because why?
Maybe.
What would
Well, it makes
be?
it's better. It's better, faster, and easier. Now think about it. If you have a drone that costs $300, $400, $500, you make millions of them, right? And the drone has a charge on it. You know, say a little bit of C4.
Yep.
And then you send out these 1,000 drones through this area, right? And then facial recognition, the same thing we have on this right here, the facial recognition that does this, will find that dude, isolate him, wait till he gets out in the open, and cap him in the back of the head before he even knows that he's been spotted.
So, Brian, what is your
all technology we have
with
to
that?
this day. Well,
What do you
the problem is who's running it. That's the problem.
Right.
So
Exactly.
the beauty of the military is you have oh God, they call it fire team. If you fire anything. So an event happened where this plane was in Iraq was buzzing a ship, and the ship opened fire on him, right? And then he turned and banked and let off chaff, and then came back around and said, "I'm going to sink you now." And the second he let off the torpedo that went into the water, his commander said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he said, "I was fired upon. I got video, so the ship's going down." He's like, "All right."
Proof.
So the fire team knew the second the torpedo left the plane, not hit the water, and said to him, "What are you doing?" And then he had to prove the fact that he was fired upon.
Yeah.
AI shouldn't have the ability to order someone to die. That's where I think we need to be.
That's a whole can of worms right there.
John's trying to crack that can open, so let's get involved.
Well, so
I think humans should. I don't think AI should have the right to.
So well, drones and AI, that's a little bit different conversation, but
It's the same thing.
Because drones, well, you say they're gonna be following people, this and that. Drones have a battery life.
Now, time out. They've already gotten past that, Brian. Gotten
past that limitation.
They actually have an embedded solar panel on the little drone. It just sits there and waits, and charges itself, and then it takes off
cloudy
again.
Day.
Guess what?
Ooh, that's
what if
actually
it's
a good
not?
idea. Can you go sit on top of something high and then charge itself?
Hope it's in Florida or something. What the fuck is that?
Well, if you
go to someplace like
most of our
Michigan,
wars are in
Minnesota,
the sand,
towards you
though.
guys. Up towards you guys, it's always cloudy, isn't it?
I hear you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But that's your reservation, is that the batteries will run up before it finds you?
No,
or
it's just one. It's just one. Just one.
Okay.
So the big threat I think most people think about is a drone swarm, right?
Yes.
So there's also countermeasures to drones. There's radio frequencies you can send out, and it'll mess up everything on its own. And there's EMP pulse. One EMP pulse can take out thousands or hundreds of thousands.
Fiber optic drones. You've heard of fiber optic drones? They don't go off of RF. They don't use RF. You have not heard of fiber optic drones?
This is news to me, buddy.
About the drone world, but it's from a large scale. It's kind of the way things go, right? Like guns were extremely lethal to people, and then over time, now we have body armor to counter the guns, right? So it's like whenever there's a thing made, then there's another thing made to counter the thing.
Okay.
So there's little. You ever see the little laser beam that takes out mosquitoes?
No.
There's this little box. It's on TikTok.
I need one.
Put it on your counter.
Yeah, I need a few.
and it's just
like I got this guy.
Okay, well it's a little bit cooler than that. And it's a little flat screen, has a laser on it, and then when it recognizes a fly, it goes, or a mosquito, and then just drops out of the sky.
That's pretty cool.
I want one.
And that's for mosquitoes. Well, I'll get you one, John. And I think get off the TikTok. And
that's cool.
Of course,
they're going to do the same thing with
made in China.
Made in China. Has anybody bought anything off the TikTok shop yet? You guys don't even own TikTok.
Oh, did it
I
just
don't
start
use
being a
TikTok.
thing? Is that why?
No, so they
Yeah,
have a
no.
TikTok shop where you buy stuff. I bought a blower for $35. It's a blower, a battery, and a case for $35. It's in a charger for $35. It's insane. About the third time I used it, one of the fins blew off. Now it wobbles. I'm like,
Oh no.
Temu bullshit.
These damn Chinese.
Darn
Temu
it.
bullshit. No, we're Americans,
Oh,
Michael.
Timu's good. This is not.
We're Americans, Michael. We don't use TikTok.
We don't use TikTok. No shit. But you missed that. You missed that part about light when Jesus was talking about the what do you call it?
Yes, I wanted to get back into this, and we will.
That's crazy, dude. Oh, if you guys listen to the whole thing, it really did hurt me.
I want to show y'all something before we do, though. I want to show y'all this picture.
Hope it's not a naked man.
See this?
Yep, it's a naked man.
Oh, that's that Scottish girl you were talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, what did you guys say about it? The UK is experiencing record numbers of migrant rapes, and the police barely help. Teenage girls have resorted to defending themselves from being assaulted. And what did the police do? They arrested the girls trying not to be raped. The UK has fallen to dystopian levels of evil.
Yep. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to protect people.
The right to bear arms was great. Was an English concept that we utilized it too. And in 87 or 97, they had a school shooting, and then they took away all handguns. And there was no more school shootings, but there's a lot more rapes and violence than there's ever been.
Well, that's the old thing I say with the guns over there. Right? Then they took the guns away, and now London has surpassed New York City for knife crime.
How many people are in London? How many people are in New York? A lot more people are in New York. So if that's the case,
I wouldn't say a lot more people. Maybe more people, but
hey Siri, what's the population of New York?
In 2020, the population of New York was 20,201,249.
20 million. You said where in England?
So London's city population is slightly larger than New York City's, London having around 9.8 million residents and New York having around 8.8 as of 2025.
Okay, so it's about the same though, right?
But they've exceeded, I believe it's murders. So now they have more murders with knives in London than they do in New York City because they replaced the guns with the knives.
Well, they took away the guns,
right? This is the forever conversation I always tell people about. You can't blame the tool. Stop trying to blame the tool. Guns just don't wake up one day and decide to kill people, right? That's not how it works.
Here's the difference,
you can say this with the internet. You can say this with a lot of things.
When I was in London, I was with my cousins, and there was the Prime Minister was coming out. We happened to be walking down the sidewalk, and there was a large gathering crowd, and my two cousins were so obsessed about their police. I forget what they call their police. They're M5 or whatever it is. No, they don't call them constables. These guys are fully armed. It looked like an M16, but who knows, right? Whatever. But they've never seen firearms because you're right, they're outlawed in London. The thing is, here's the difference. If a crime is done, the police always have the ultimate advantage of having the firearm. I get what you're saying, Brian, but I'm saying because I asked them, I go, why don't you guys have guns? And, isn't that a disadvantage? And they said, well, there is a violent crime. When the police show up with that gun, it's game over. They have the ultimate advantage. Everything stops.
I talked to somebody over there recently, back and forth. He's like, no, we do have guns. It's just not like y'all do. We can't have pistols. Like, they have shotguns and stuff, I think. They have, hunting things that they can do, right? So it's not completely gone, but it's not doing well. 2A ain't doing good over there, boy.
It blows my mind.
Well, I see all these crazy
You-
videos out there, man, with all these migrants and mobbing people and attacking people and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, see this right here? This is the greatest case to be had for automatic weapons right here.
This one guy said it best. He goes, I think it was Charlie Kirk. They're talking about guns. You know, guns kill so many people. He goes, yeah, there's crazy people doing crazy things with guns. He goes, but what stops crazy people with guns? Good people with guns.
Yeah.
It stopped every crazy person at one point.
That's the same thing with those politicians that are always claiming that we need to get the gun rights, this, gun rights, that. Like, oh yeah, how's your security doing?
Right.
Is all your security have pepper spray? Is that what they're carrying?
Nope. Hey, what
when
happened?
when you go home to your gated neighborhood, is it protected by somebody with some pepper spray? I doubt it.
Did what happened today in didn't another transgender lose his mind and start shooting people again?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I just did.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I've been all over
Here's
X.
the pot and stirred it.
So that clip that I made, I sent you, Michael. I don't know if you watched it or not, but it's the
I didn't know it was a clip. I thought it was a picture.
Yeah, well, obviously you didn't click it, did you? So you didn't click the link that I made from our episode with your solution that I've been blasting out to the world.
Oh, Bronx solution. Yeah,
that's the solution. And I've
it
been putting
it is the solution, but it's not a popular one.
I put it on Charlie Kirk's page.
You don't think the liberals are going to come after me?
All of the popular pages on X today had been throwing that damn video on.
Thank you very much.
I told you I wasn't even going to put it out to this weekend, but it seems so timely to put it out right now. So.
Yeah. The solution. Yeah. John, you know what the solution is? Were you here last week? The solution is for all school shooters, 0 possibility of arrest, automatically deletion.
Yeah, no arrest.
The police or special forces or SWAT teams go in for one reason only.
I subscribe to that wholly. I subscribe to that.
Well,
I do. Because you know why?
Isn't it biblical or something?
Well, when my family, where they grew up, if you messed up that bad, your life is gone. That's pretty much it. And by doing that, crime goes to nothing. So somebody has the thought of committing that type of crime, that heinous of a crime, you got to have something big. 100%, man. 100%. Absolutely. In fact, this sounds awful, but it's true. They should train police when they do that how to take someone out. Give them the right ability to take that person out.
I thought they did.
Well, more so.
You guys. So you think about the people that I think is like, I did some stats of like 30% of the people are taken out. So that could
35, I think you said
35%. So
no, I think you said it was 35 get taken in. I think is what you said.
I might have misspoke. I think it was 30. I think it was 36% don't make it out.
We could run it again, but I think that's right. Because you were saying 90%.
What percent of school shooters get killed in the school shooting?
I think you said something like 90% get I don't know, throw their hands in the air and then they get arrested.
Let me ask you this. Okay, I'm going to ask both of you this question. Give me your honest answer. Is justice served better that a person like that gets taken out immediately or has to serve prison time for the rest of their life in a hellhole?
That's a
very
good point.
Day after day after day after day. And the inmates know what they did day after day. What do you think?
Okay.
Isn't it almost more humane to take them out immediately instead of sticking them in an environment of being tortured to death, basically? What are your thoughts, John?
That's for the torturers. That's for the torturer's enjoyment right there.
Is that what the guy with the hood with the 2 eyes? He gets to decide what to do. Yeah.
So, well.
I want to state my opinion for last. I think you're going to like it.
I have an answer for all of this. Because I've talked to friends of mine who just, I don't know, they live different lives, right? And they know about the prison system and this and that. And I feel a certain way, but it's good to get other opinions from people who live a different life. And we kind of come to this conclusion that says, and I put this stuff on X, but it says, if a wicked man can't truly be reformed or won't truly be reformed, there's only one option. You have to take him out.
Okay.
Because there are how many people, especially the Christian way, right? Reform. Like, you're not going to reform a repeated rapist. You're not going to reform a repeated murderer. Like, there's certain cases where people ain't going to reform.
Can I interject a thought, Michael, before you get? I want to hear your answer, Michael. But Brian, to
Go
your
for
point,
it, John. I'm so
I
glad
just
I got
watched-
this group together. I feel like I got a policy together.
I just watched a video, and I just, you know how you fall into the YouTube death hole, you know, and you just spend your part of your life watching
Doom
videos.
scrolling. Yeah.
It actually had 12 medieval means of torturing criminals, and
I've
my
seen some of
favorite one.
these.
You seen those? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it taps into the
They
part
get
of your
pretty
brain.
gnarly.
Yeah, there's one in particular that really struck me. Is they hang a person upside down and by their ankles spread apart, and they saw them right in half, right down the middle. Just I can't. I mean, holy cow! And then did you hear about where they tie people in a bag and they put wild animals in the bag and they drop it in a river?
Oh, that's so wicked!
Just the head.
Yeah. They put like a dog and a scorpion and a snake and a rooster and all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah. No, this particular one, they put the whole person in the bag and they stick raccoons and roosters and snakes that they just throw it in there. They tie the bag and then they throw it in the river. One more, and then I promise I'll shut up. There's one. This one's crazy too. They strap a person down, and they have basically a like a barrel, and it's full of rats. And they secure this person's belly on top of the barrel, and these rats are trying to
This is Fast and the Furious
out. And these rats are literally disemboweling this person. Anyway, I'll stop there. I'll stop.
You remember they did that in the Fast and the Furious?
Did they?
Put a tin can on dude's stomach and started heating it up, and then the rat was just like, "There's only one way out."
That's exactly right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, I gotta hear this.
Look at the thing they used to do where they had that. Look at where they had that bronze bull, and they would put people in it, and they would cook them alive.
Put them in there. Yes. There's a way.
To what you're talking about, medieval stuff, I think my brain kind of goes
smiling when we talk about this.
Oh man, but like justice is beautiful sometimes. Justice just rings in your ear of awesomeness at times. It just
oh shoot.
But you remember what they did to William Wallace, right?
Best served cold.
Yeah, sure.
You remember what they did to William Wallace, right?
No.
Oh.
They had him drawn and quartered.
Yes.
What, you get pulled apart?
Yes.
Basically, they got a rope to his hand, a rope to his hand, a rope to his leg, a rope to his leg. They got 4 horses.
Yep.
Pull.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just
and then after they killed him, they stuck his head on a stake outside the castle. Just as a warning for anybody else that wants to mess around on the king.
Well, here's another thought experiment. You said, what is more humane? Well, the Christian way would be to catch him. But then what does that do for society? Because if you catch him and you bring him into jail, he's fed and clothed the rest of his life.
Right.
Now,
well, that's a vacation for some people.
I can get my 15 minutes of fame and I don't have to worry about food and clothing the rest of my life, and shelter the rest of my life, and medical care and everything else. Now, with my solution, it was just, you're going in there to, and I want to put this the right way, fix the problem or secure the problem or alleviate the threat, right? No other options, just alleviate the threat. Now, what that does to the rest of the psychology out there is, well, there's my option of going to jail for the rest of my life is gone. But if you do John had a good point about, is it more humane to take them out or take them into prison? Well, here's the scenario. Well, if you take them out and they're a bad person, they just killed a bunch of people, where do they get to go? Where you're going to be sodomized for the rest of eternity. But if you get caught and brought into prison, you have the option giving your life to Jesus Christ and then getting saved for eternity, right? So which is the more humane option? I hate to say it, it would be the prison. But the psychology of criminals would be, it would promote more people to do it because they get fed and clothed the rest of their life. And all of us know how hard it is to feed and clothe ourselves and our families and all that kind of stuff. So you got to alleviate the option. And you guys all know every stat in the world says that the countries, John's talking about the country, I think it was Ukraine that did that. There's very little crime in that area.
Very little crime.
So I'm just looking for kids to be safe. How are we going to do it?
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, it's set an example. And
how are we going to do it? I want the kids to be safe. How are we going to do it? Not if it can be done. How are we going to do it? And you know how all that came around, John?
How's that?
I did a podcast with a senator from Utah, and he was talking about he's going to the aftermath of these school shootings, and I'm like, and I'm doing the interview being nice, and I'm like, it shut out the interview. I got the answer. You're not gonna like it. Told him, he goes, "You're right. I don't like it." Yeah. He goes, I can't say it, no matter if it's right or wrong. I can't say it. I can't agree with it or not, but that's the problem, is the politicians can't make a decision or be proactive and stuff like that.
That's terrible.
Didn't Venezuela just recently change their
what country can't be leaders?
Yeah, what country just recently changed their policy on crime? All of a sudden, it's the safest country in the world.
You're probably talking about Argentina. If I was
Argentina,
Malay down there, Javier Malay
changed his opinion and changed his country.
He's the one that runs around with the chainsaw all the time and all that. That dude is an awesome dude, by the way.
Actually, I don't understand. What is he doing that's so awesome? Protecting his people? Protecting his borders?
Well, he's common sense. He is riding that Trump wave of populism. Because if you haven't noticed, populism has kind of been popping up all around the world, is because it's the only thing left to combat the tyranny. But there was a episode him and Lex Friedman did that I actually took notes on that we could talk about. We could talk about one day. But we could talk about that one day. But he's got some really good lines in there, really good theories, how shit should be run. He's kind of breaking it back to free market. That's really what his thing is. And that is how you make a fucking society prosper.
Well, but it doesn't come without its downfalls. And we all can agree.
Downsides.
Yeah.
The Thomas Sowell line. There are no solutions. There are only trade-offs.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Quite possible. Because you're trading one problem for another in a way,
Yeah, but capitalism seems like the best solution to this point. But we got people that are grossly overcompensated.
I don't know.
You don't need you don't need multi-billions of dollars. One person doesn't need multi-billions of dollars. And even they will say the same thing. We don't need that much money. We don't need it. But as far as that goes, it's a negative. But everything else is pretty good positives.
There's a person that I was watching that talked about what is the greatest amount of money a person needed to be set for life, and they came up with a number of $10 million. Like everything that you want to do, with like being overly exorbitant, but to hit like all the favorite things, $10 million is considered more than enough.
The American dream.
Yeah.
If you were to put $10 million, if you were to put $10 million into a 20% investment, you'd be making $2 million a year. It'd be hard to blow that. I mean, blow it.
And
You got to
when you
blow
do
2
that-
million because next year's
Depends.
another 2 million.
When you do the
Yeah, but when our
compounding, it's
fucking
actually more
dollar.
than 2 million every year. But yeah,
Yeah, but if our
Well,
dollar
if
turns
you were
into
to
the
just
value
at
of
a
a
20%
peso,
interest rate, you'd have to spend 2 million. If you didn't spend 2 million, that would compound.
man,
If you only
it's
Correct.
spend
just a
Yes, you're
1.5
right.
stupid
that year,
game.
that would compound. Now it's not
It's
2 million and it's not
It's a
2.5
stupid
million.
game.
It's 2.75 million because now
It's
you
a
got extra to
fucking
compound.
stupid game.
Huh?
Stupid game. Stupid
What?
game.
What is a stupid game?
What they say?
Most powerful force in the universe is compound interest.
No. This money game is just stupid.
Well, we need to pick up the
What they say?
invent the replicator.
So it took you 20 years to make this money that you needed to retire, but by the time that you retire, it's only worth as much as 10 years of money because of inflation and every goddamn thing else. So it's a never-ending game that's controlled by somebody, by a group of people, the Fed, whoever you want to point at. And so you're just going to endlessly do whatever they say so that, I mean, there's just no end to this thing. There's
The
no end.
replicator. Look at John. Go ahead, John.
Go ahead.
John.
So I took my finance final for my doctorate last week.
Congratulations.
And one of the problems was it had to do with an investment and how to best beat inflation. And you're right, Brian, inflation. So do you guys know how inflation, consumer price index inflation is determined? Do you guys know how that's done?
I assume the Fed.
How it's
It's all
determined?
theft, though. There's a lot of lines out there to say all inflation is theft from the government. It's designed that way, dude.
It's strange, and you're kind of on the mark. Is they look at common? There's a bunch of common items that are compared, and that's how inflation is determined. So it's like the egg and the chicken kind of thing. It's like if the people selling the product raise the price slightly, okay, and then the people that are buying it buy that, that's an inflationary indicative type of scenario. In other words, like how was inflation created? You know what I mean? It's like the consumer price
by the government.
index. Well, no, not necessarily. That's the thing. It's like,
dude, they set the prices. What do you mean?
but greed is part of the factor.
They also,
because
on top of this, they also give the incentive structures for different businesses like farming and like, so they play the game. They can dictate it without dictating the exact thing, right?
yes and no. Like when you're saying they set the government doesn't set inflation. Inflation is a naturally occurring. It's capitalism. It's the way that our businesses work. It's like you get a CEO that wants to make 10 million this year, right?
Right. What causes inflation?
The government.
What causes inflation?
Yeah, he's right.
Oh, there's a ton of
what
factors.
Causes inflation?
Government.
The number one factor.
No,
it's the easy one.
The government is not entirely
Fed
at
shit.
fault.
The Fed needs to die.
Okay. Okay. Well, what's the number one cause of inflation?
1913, when the Fed was created.
No, well, you're not far off. You're not far off. There's inflation up to 1913. A loaf of bread was 9 cents. It was 90 cents by the time the Fed came.
You think 1913
now
is
it's
just
at $3? So it's 3 times the amount.
1913 is just before the Great Depression.
Right. But what I'm saying is, bread was 9 cents a loaf. Then it was 90 cents a loaf in the mid 80s, late 80s, and now it's $3. So here's my point. What is the number one cause of inflation? Is printing money. No, printing money, because it devalues the money, which makes everything
the devaluation of money. You're right about that.
That makes sense.
The government, like I said.
Yeah, but that's kind of that's on the largest scale.
How do the Feds print money? Well, that's a number one indicator. There's other indicators. People flocking to houses are going to make the house prices go up. People moving to this area are going to make that house price. But the number one for the United States is printing money. And every time we printed money, inflation went through the roof. And then
What did they
in
say?
2000, when we printed
stat?
money, what happened to fucking inflation? Went to a level I didn't think was possible. 9% a year.
Well, they
That's
said,
crazy.
I think it
So
was.
here's another one, John. And I love talking about this because I like to see if I'm wrong or right. With what causes deflation?
Free markets.
Nope.
I don't know.
Well, there's a supply and demand
I don't think
aspect
deflation
to all
exists.
this. If you
It
raise a
happened-
price
it
of a
happened in
product
08,
too high and people
9,
don't
10.
buy it, then it drops. So there's a deflationary aspect to supply and demand. In other words, if
Supply
you
and
make,
demand is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
and-
big factor of it.
but
what
see,
happens
there's
when
other
what
variables.
happens when we take back our
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
What happens
What
when
were
we
you
take back our money? I read this one book. It was absolutely amazing. It's called The Lords of Money. And they talk about the FMOC, Federal Oversight Monetary Commission, FOMC, Federal Oversight Monetary Commission. And they have the ability to create and take away money. And how they do that is there's 20 banks they deal with, and they want to buy an asset, stocks, bonds, whatever it is. And the order comes in, right? And this is how screwed up this is. And I swear you guys can check me if I'm wrong. A dude goes into the room on a computer, hits a keystroke, and then that transaction's paid. And that's billions of dollars. I think it's billions of dollars, $1 billion or 1.2 billions of dollars. So now that transaction's paid, that $1 billion was just created and put into our monetary system. And then another order comes in from another bank of stocks, bonds, or other assets. And then that order's paid. And then that money is being brought into the system. That's how we create money. And we don't print money anymore. We're not printing money anymore. That's how we consider printing money. Now, how do we buy back? How do we buy back that money? We set out bonds, and people buy the bonds and bring the money in, and we keep it in the FOMC.
To pretend that the government isn't just doing all of this is retarded.
No, it is. I'm showing you how they're doing it. That's what I'm trying to fucking show you.
He said no.
That's how they do. You're like, they're doing this. I'm explaining how they do it.
So you're proving
if we want money, we print it. It's just basically a keystroke on a key. It's this button on a keyboard. It's all it is. That's all it is like, bam, that transaction's paid.
Go back to what I said to you last week, Michael. Money isn't real.
Well, money is real, but what is money?
It's not. It's really not real.
What is money?
It's just paper. In the end of it, like I told my wife, I was all having fun. And I said, money isn't real.
It
is
what
real. Do you mean money isn't real? I said, the stuff you can buy with money is real, but money isn't real.
Money is real. You know what money is?
It's
money
a medium.
Is basically a modicum of trade.
It's a medium.
I labor and receive money. My value of my labor determines how much money I bring in. I'm valuing myself enough to do this job so well that I get this much money. I trade with John to do something else, to do electrical for me.
Medium. It's just so
it's
stupid.
A medium, a modicum of trade. It's a medium of trade. That's all it really is.
Yes, and there's a
the paper's useless. It's probably 20 cents per dollar bill. And $100 bill is 20% of but that's a modicum of trade. How much you think you're worth is how much you give out. Like I got a guy framing you guys want to hear something? You guys want to hear a funny? Oh, geez, I go squirrel. So you guys want to hear a funny story? I just got a text. There's nothing to relate to what we're talking about money. I've been trying to build a garage. My framer came out and started on last Thursday. He said, I'll come by Saturday and finish up. And there's a pouch and some tools out in front of my house. Garage walls are half up. I've been calling him. I'm calling him. Where you at? Where you at? Just got a text from him. Sorry, man. Ice caught me. I'm in Mexico. And I'm like, that is a great framer too, man. I got to tell him, hey, listen, dude, love you, but I'll use you on the next job when you get back. So it was right. I just caught him.
That's funny.
There's a stat out there. I'm looking it up right now.
My dear brothers,
this
I
would be a
have
great
to
podcast.
take this. I have to take this wonderful dog of mine for his nightly regimen. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So, okay, well,
And we'll talk
okay, I gotta
CPI
wrap
and
it up then.
inflation and
Fuck.
Let's wrap it
variables
up,
and
buddy. You got more to do next week.
There's
federal
a couple of things I
government.
want to show you because, like, there was this
John,
stat that
tell
was
me if I'm
recent.
wrong on all that too.
Well, there was a
No,
stat that
Evan.
was recent that said like there was a period of COVID, right, where they were printing so much money, and I actually know because my dad actually prints money for
40%
the
of all
government.
money was printed in the last 5
But
years.
it was like 80% of the money that has been printed in since the U.S.'s conception was like made in like a 5-year run or some shit, basically. It is insane.
What
Why are we?
happened to
So tell me
inflation?
this: why are we even playing this fucking game? Fucking money's stupid. You're gonna work 40 years, and by the time you're done work 40 years, it's only worth what you did if you would have worked 20 because all the inflation and all the bullshit on top of it. It's this never-ending game of fucking.
Okay, here's a quick question for you. What are your options? Quit
What are my
playing the game. What
options?
happens? You starve.
Now you got to play the game to win, huh?
Matt, you got no choice.
This is something I hit on over the years. It's like that's a vacation for
I'm not
some
going to
people.
shoot up a school. My morals won't let me.
But I'll tell you this too is another line I push. It said, being sane in an insane society is not a good marker of health.
It is.
No, it is not.
It is.
No, it is not.
What are your options to be insane with them?
My
So if everybody's
options?
going to hell, you want to go with them?
My options is I'm gonna play my own goddamn game.
Well, play your own game. I hope you win, brother.
I want to show one thing before we get out of here because it was really on point. Because you want to talk about the light. Well, here we go, buddy. Here we go. Because it has been done. It has been done, fellas.
Oh, is that the...
Scientists just created matter from pure light, proving Einstein's 90-year-old theory. Right in the lab. And this is from August 2nd. This is.
That's like a couple weeks ago. Dude,
Yes,
let me
not that
finish
long
that.
ago.
All day, scientists just create matter from pure... Well,
what do you think about that, John?
I hate to say I'm right. I hate to say I'm right. So they created matter from light.
Yeah. But I think this, in this sense, was like two gamma rays. They kind of crossed them in a certain way or whatever, and they created matter from it.
Well,
so
remember I told you about the replicator? There's the replicator. See how this all tied together? God is good, brother.
Well, I've been holding this one. This one I've been holding on to for like a whole episode.
This is great.
Because I knew this was going to hit on point. As soon as you started talking about this light thing earlier, I was like, oh,
that was talked about 2,000 years ago. Jesus talked about this 2,000 years ago. He's talking about light and creation, and we're doing it now.
Okay, hold on, though. At the same time, dude, I mean, nah, your guy... Oh, you lost your camera.
No, yeah, I turned it off for a second. Keep going, brother.
So I want to talk about your boy now. I want to talk
he's
about
not
your
here?
boy. No, he's here. He's always here, isn't he? Jesus is always present.
Oh, I thought you were talking about John.
I know.
Big difference.
They're both your boys. Whatever. Details. So I gotta think though, because special dude, all that, right? Like, I don't know if he was special in his time. I think we see him more as special today because we aren't. At least we aren't aware of the ways in which we're special. I see he responded. Yeah.
So
but I don't know if we're aware of the ways in which we're special, but I don't know in his day if he was thought of as special, really.
Oh, he was very special, but
how do you figure? How do you figure?
Okay, well,
okay. I say this because we don't have historical context.
What do you mean we don't have historical context?
Where did Jesus learn the things that he knew?
Well, I'd have to say heaven because they say.
Well, I don't think that's right at all.
Let me give you an
I think he learned it from other people.
I would have to disagree with that. And let me explain why. So he knew things that we didn't. He was teaching us this.
No, who's we? Who's we?
Us humans, us monkeys banging on coconuts.
That's hearsay.
No, that's
Yes.
facts.
No, he knew something that
we didn't.
that people were able to know back then, apparently.
No, he was trying to teach monkeys how to build skyscrapers.
Okay, who taught Jesus what he knew?
That's our question. Don't refer back to it again, because that's our original question.
All right.
Okay. So you think it's human, I think it's divine. So
Okay.
I was told that when we come to this side from pure spirit, we go into our bodies and we get this veil of ignorance. So you know how we jump into a simulation game and there's so much we can't do, right? We can't talk to certain people. They're MPGs or whatever.
NPCs, yeah.
PCs. There's so much we can't do, but it's a fun game. We play it for hours, right? Then we come back the next day. And we come back the next day. And we come back
Sandbox,
the next day,
right?
Right. So this is there is a level of entertainment involved. So my theory is that we came from spirit, we came into our bodies, and we agreed to have this veil of ignorance put over us, so that we don't know what we don't know. We have to learn everything all over again, and the learning process is the exciting part.
So we used to know it.
We used to know it.
We used to know everything that is hidden from us. We used to know all of that.
Jesus came in without the veil of ignorance. And he's talking to these fucking monkeys that had the veil of ignorance.
If he did that, what's to say that anybody else didn't do that?
Well, then you wouldn't be playing. You wouldn't want to play the game. So Jesus
I didn't say
came
everybody. I didn't say everybody. I said anybody else.
What do you mean?
He's not the only one. He can't be the only one.
That what?
That knew what he knew.
There's all these great scientists today that are trying to prove what he said is true.
Right, but we can't make the pyramids today.
We can make the pyramids today.
We can't. Have you seen those underground structures? Have you seen those underground structures that they're finding below the pyramid? Like, we can't do anything like that. What are you talking about?
We can absolutely.
They think that some of those things might have been like causing a violent pounding to shake the earth, to vibrate the own pyramid, to light itself up, to feed the obelisks electricity, free energy for the world. Who knows? But we can't do that.
Well, we can build anything there. We still don't understand why. We're still looking at it like monkeys playing with a coconut. We don't understand it.
I see this more as people wanting us, people incentivized to keep us like sheep, essentially.
That's the whole school. Remember the study where the kids, 90% of elementary kids are geniuses?
Yeah.
50% of junior high school and 10% of high school?
This is the same thing I said on X recently. Said, society tempts man with money and women, so he doesn't actually look at what's really going on.
I don't disagree with that at all. It's 100% accurate.
And not just to what their gain, but to things that we could learn that supersede even what they know. So you're going to say we're going to know more than Tesla. Tesla was on the verge of creating free energy, and they fucking nuked him for it because they were like, "How are we going to sell that?" I'm telling you, there's these people over time figure this shit out, and I don't think Jesus was that special in the long run. I've heard he's a cool dude, special dude, nice dude, all the shit.
Let's go back to
but I've heard him described in certain ways where he was just an average Egyptian boy. He grew up he was like one of those people that came up and he was just he was one of those Egyptian kids. Of course he knows those things, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard, and here's why. So,
but
have you ever heard an Egyptian that got murdered by the Romans? And you want to know something? The only two most proven facts of history that Jesus was a first century Jew and taught, and that the Romans killed him. The Romans killed him.
Well, the Jews.
Do you know why we know that the Romans killed him? The Romans built fucking cement that is withstanding time today.
It's self-healing cement.
it's self-healing cement. So when they did the minor task of taking somebody out, they never failed. And the Roman soldiers were tasked with taking somebody out. If they didn't take them out, they would be taken out. I guarantee you that guy was dead, then stuck in a grave for 3 days, and then walked out. So what I'm trying to illustrate,
that's one version of a story, but yeah.
Well, that's I guess that can be in debate, but people went to their grave. Well, I remember the Watergate from Nixon. And then one of the guys got caught, and it was 10, 12 days later. And he said, I know that Jesus Christ was true, because the most powerful people in America couldn't last 12 days without beefing each other out for the truth. Right. But 12 guys in the first century all 12 of them went to their graves saying the exact same thing.
That's a weird thing to hang on.
He said he knows the fact of Jesus Christ because
the government is full of corrupt people that couldn't keep their mouth shut.
Because 12 of the most powerful people in the world couldn't keep their mouths shut for the truth.
Dude, those 12 people
12 peasants went to their graves saying one thing is true.
Yeah, but nobody
dies for a lie. Nobody.
No, we already covered that in the video. But people would die for what they believe to be true, even if it is a lie.
I don't think so. If they've been deceived, possibly, there's.
But they don't know in this scenario. They don't know that they've been deceived. So if they believe it to be true, even if it's a lie, they'll still die for it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's a possibility.
But those 12 people, those 12 most powerful people, probably also have giant egos too. And this is something that I think a lot of people neglect to think about in this way. Oh, I
think they were trying to protect their skins and their families.
Maybe, but this is something that
I don't think ego. I think they're trying to protect their families.
I think a lot of people forget about this shit. Is both things can be true. The government can be terrible at keeping secrets, and the government can also keep some secrets. These things aren't exclusive.
I don't know if it's the government or people.
Well,
when your life depends on it. When your life depends on it, that's the problem.
The government is just people.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm telling you, I've seen talkings about Jesus like he was just another Egyptian boy. People looked at him as. There's things out there to suggest that he went to Tibet for his missing years, and he learned all kinds of things from them. And he made his way around to the spiritual teachers of the day. And I'm telling you that we don't even know how to make, because that was a great example, that Roman concrete. We can't make that shit today, but they made it 2,000 years ago.
Right. So, yeah, back in the day when Jesus walked around, the Egyptians were walking around too. There wasn't too many Egyptians that could heal people, cure the blind, bring people back from the dead.
How do you know?
Well, because it's not written anywhere. And today, if that happened back then, they have writings and they could be doing it today, and they're not doing it today. There's evidence that they weren't doing it then.
No. There's a guy, John Lennox. You ever heard of John Lennox?
I've heard of John Lennox.
What he said, I was listening to him talk to Alex O'Connor day before. He said that in his eyes, that if there was no resurrection, we wouldn't know who Jesus is today.
True.
So, without that thing, he's just another regular Egyptian guy.
But with that thing,
potentially,
with that claim, he's the son of God.
Also, as I hear it, it was not in the first book, but in every book after that, it gets more and more popular in the books. The resurrection story.
The resurrection story. So the difference between the resurrection story and being proven a fact is that there was Pontius Pilate and there was crucifixions back then, and they identified a Jewish rabbi of Jesus that they nailed to one of them. So the Romans the Romans wouldn't want to. How do I put this? over the years, Romans wouldn't want to prove that they killed Jesus Christ.
Well, this is
They
why they
wouldn't want
leaned
to
on the
prove that.
Jews. I think this
Huh?
is partially why they leaned on the Jews. Because I say kind of mockingly, but the Jews ordered it and the Romans executed it. Because I don't think Rome was gonna do it without, and it sounds
Well, they
silly,
were
but
they were a little bit persecuted too to do it. They were like, he and the Roman it's Pilate. Pilate did a ceremony where he had some water and he goes, "I wash my hands of this. This blood's on your hands," and then he did it.
yeah. But because the Roman state wanted him dead because he's challenging their power. The Jewish elite at the time wanted him dead because he's challenging their power.
Well,
And
he
they
was
kind
taking it
of,
away from them.
well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend in this way. And this has kind of created this weird alliance. But I don't think the Roman state was ever going to do it without the backing of the Jews, because that's that church and state thing. And even though that the Jews weren't running the show, obviously the Romans were running the show.
The
But
Jewish
there
people
is sway. There
the
is
Jewish
pull.
people were running Judea. They were just
Right.
paying for the military. They were just paying the Romans their due.
Right, right. So yeah, that's my kind of my point though. The church had insane amount of pull, insane amount of power, even if they weren't the lead dog at the time, right? The Roman state was, or whatever, Pontius or whatever, right? But they this is why they consulted with the damn Jews. They were like, "Oh, now that y'all want them dead too? Well, like, we want them dead too." And the mob turned on them, and right, and he's like, "Oh, got to do it now."
Well, he told his disciples the night before. He goes, "This is going to happen." And
Well,
his
he could see the
disciples
writing on the wall at that point.
Well, it wasn't the writing on the wall. So, Jesus knew the scripture, and he told his people. He goes, and I think it's I forgot what verse. I'm horrible with that. One of the verses prior in the Old Testament said, "He'll be crushed for our transgression and pierced for our sins."
I think this is.
And then he said his disciples, he opened up the scriptures to them and said, "How is this going to be fulfilled other than me being crucified?" And they're like, "We don't care. We don't want this to happen." And he's like, "How are the scriptures going to be fulfilled? I have to fulfill these."
Determined to prophesize himself. That's amazing.
He determined to prophesize himself. No, he knew his path. He knew his path. He knew who he was. He knew what he had to do. It just had to do it one day, and he's the one that knew that day. Which he was trying to explain. You got to watch the Chosen. It's just a great depiction of them trying everything not to believe that it's going to happen. And then the prince of Egypt is going to be on the fold of an ass that has never had anybody sat on, and that happened. I mean, there's all kinds of I think there was 300 prophecies that Jesus.
Either way, you know who Lennox is. Lennox is very studied, very studious, very Christian, very everything. He says, without the resurrection, we don't hear about Jesus today.
That's because there's a bunch of. Yes, but without the resurrection.
That tells me that there were people like that then. But he made this different take.
No. So let's go this route. Are you saying just without the resurrection?
I'm not. That's his claim.
I know, but are you agreeing with that?
I don't know. I think his take
point.
is way more appropriate to talk about than mine.
Well, what's your take?
My take? Would we have heard about Jesus without a resurrection? Is that what you? No, I don't think so either. Actually, if you think about it, because
so you're on his
who some of these really, really popular people over time, like a William Wallace or somebody, right? We barely know who he is, but he did such monumental
writings
shit.
on William Wallace and Jesus Christ. Oh no, Jesus Christ at 5,000.
Well, William Wallace did some monumental shit in his life. Uprising against the king and whatever,
Genghis
all the stuff.
You could say Genghis Khan is monumental.
Right, but we barely know much about these people commonly. We know everything about Jesus, supposedly, right?
What are you talking about? 10% of the population is of the Earth's population is Genghis Khan DNA.
Is Genghis's DNA? Yeah.
We're all fucking warriors. Ah!
That's how we were built.
At least 10% of us.
But he says, the Christian scholar says, without the resurrection, we don't know who Jesus is today. We wouldn't know.
But
He'd just be like another bishop or some fucking titled person, right?
no,
That's
because
his claim.
he cured the sick, healed
But
the
this
healed the
suggests
infirmed, cured the blind, brought people back from the dead. We would have heard about him. It wouldn't be the majority of Earth's population's religion. Period.
well, I mean, exorcisms were happening then too, but this suggests that the other stuff he did was doable.
Nobody's done it to the extent he's done it.
How do you know? You never heard about him because they didn't
Because there were-
resurrect.
Because there would be writings about it. There would be writings about it.
There's
And how many times
all kinds of
after that? How
writings.
many times after that would there have been people that acted like Jesus? Well, this guy acted like Jesus Christ. You don't hear a lot of that either. Not said our Jesus
Well,
Christ, but
I say
acted like.
that sometimes. I get in my moods, man. I'm fucking on it. I've told the wife before, I am Jesus, and all this other shit, right?
I'd watch the blasphemy on that part, man. That's the problem.
Why? Why?
I don't want you to see why, because there is a God without a
Okay.
doubt, and
Okay.
he doesn't like to be mocked in that manner.
Mocked? I'm not.
Mocked.
I'm being sincere.
Ugh.
When I say this, I'm being very sincere. This reminds me of an Alan Watts thing. He was talking about, I was watching the other day. He's talking about how in our world, when you say I am God, people look at you like you're all crazy. He's like, but in the Eastern world, if you say I am God, they look at you and be like, oh, good, you figured it out. Good for you.
I don't
Yes,
know what
sir.
to tell you on that.
Well, he's a son of God, but so are we all. That's my point in that.
I don't disagree with that. We're all sons and daughters of the Most High.
We're all a piece of God. So I can
agree
make
with
the
that
same
wholeheartedly.
claim that he can. We are sons of God.
But you're right. We're sons and daughters of the Most High. He was the Messiah. The Messiah is
Whatever that means.
The Messiah was one, that was prophesied in the Old Testament to do what he did.
Says who though? His
The
biased
Old Testament.
followers?
The Old Testament. The Old Testament.
The Old Testament he hated and wanted to make a new one of?
No, he hated the Pharisees who loved the Old Testament.
Or
He
he
didn't come to
didn't like it
abolish the
so
Old
much he
Testament.
wanted to make his own.
Did he make his own, or did he fulfill the old?
I don't know. That's a question.
Well,
beyond
that's
me.
my point. To be crucified was the completion of what he had to do to fulfill the Old Testament. And he said,
so he didn't have to be resurrected.
Huh? Well, the
So
resurrection,
he didn't have to be resurrected to fulfill the prophecy. He only had to be crucified, apparently.
Correct. But the resurrection was more of a screw you to the rest of the world, to say, you can't stop God. Right? He walked out of the grave. There was angels there, and then the angels were beings of light, back to what I feel that all of us were before we started. We were beings of light that went into these. Instead of putting on the headset, we put on this skin suit.
There's a Flash.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Do you know about the Flash?
Talk about light today. Light.
Yeah, it's all about light. The episode on light.
You just showed me the CERN, and it's not the CERN, but the
I think I got a screenshot in my phone about it, but they said that they've actually I don't know if they have a photo of it, but there's a picture to kind of represent the thing. But they say that there is a moment in a womb or ovary, whatever the hell it is. Once the
sperm
cell
goes into the egg, there's a flash.
Yeah, there's a light. There's a flash of light, and nobody can really figure out why or what or whatever. But they kind of
Is that the
suspect
soul? Is that the soul
that's when the
going into
soul
the?
or whatever, right?
And he just relaxes for 6 months. My grandson's going to be born relatively soon. He's cooking right now.
Feeling old yet?
I am, and then I go win the U.S. Open, or I go, build something, or go do, it's weird. This, my perception of my physical being really interprets my reality.
Well, that's yes. Your life becomes, what is it? Your thoughts color your life or whatever.
Well, your thoughts create your life, and I know one thing: my thoughts shape my body. And like I'm gonna,
well, in this sense, your thoughts shape your reality.
yes, that's what I'm trying to say. But I didn't know it could create matter. That's the part that's.
I'm hesitant, but I got you. I know what you're trying to say.
It's a possibility.
I am down with the possible. I just claiming it as a thing is kind of wild.
How many times have you lost like your keys or lost something? It literally disappeared. You put them here, and I put this pencil here. I come back next morning, it's gone. My wife wasn't in the house. I was the only one here. Where in the fuck did that pencil go? Matter disappeared.
Can it disappear? I have no idea. There was one I was going to actually bring up earlier where I think it was James Webb. One of those pages I follow, it caught it was a certain planet or something, right? Where it caught it and then it came back looking for it later and it was gone in the same spot.
Mhm.
I was like, what the hell?
Dude,
I don't
that
know if it
happens.
ended up
It
coming
happens
back
all
or
the time.
whatever, but that's a crazy thing.
It happens. It happens. There's glitches in the matrix.
Dude, I think you should give more thought to this, that Jesus was a regular dude.
Mm-mm. The evidence isn't the evidence.
Evidence. Oh
Overwhelming.
my
Yeah.
God. We're talking about 2,000 years ago. Evidence is loose at best.
So I would say that the evidence that one dude taught 12 people to create a religion that is now the majority of the population in 2,000 years. Now, every year, the incompetence of the people in that religion could have destroyed that religion every year for the last 2,000 years.
Well, yeah, I say it
They
often.
had 2,000 opportunities to destroy religion.
Jesus supposedly sacrificed for everybody, right? But for our sins or whatever. But I say all the time that humanity has failed him over and over.
And here's the kicker: he still loves us, which is the insane part. You're 100% right. You're 1,000% right. I think I'm a decent person, decent at best. I'm the biggest douchebag on the planet.
Decent at best is how most of us are.
Well, I would like to think I'd like to think I'm better than most because I try. I try harder than ever not to lie, not to do anything wrong, and I'm sure everybody does the same thing. But
no, see, that's the thing. That right there is a fucking problem. I swear to God, because people, I'm not gonna say people like you, but people, right? People get in this growth mindset and they just assume that everybody else is too. And it couldn't be farther from the case, because I tell people all the time, anybody who listen, that there are so many people on this planet that are completely content being giant pieces of shit. It is unreal.
Yeah, I agree with what you're trying to say, but people like me are focused on the positive and hope everybody else focuses on the positive too.
People like you are lesser than you think.
They're not. We know we're not, but we're not alone. We're not the majority, but
definitely
we like to think that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I hit this from another angle, usually because these laws and stuff that we like to talk about, right? And say the people that follow rules often just blindly think that other people are out there wake up thinking about following rules too. Because that's their world, so they assume that's other people's world. It's kind of the same thing. And it's a really unhealthy thing to start thinking, because then you start with this kind of like this invasion, like just kind of taking over the world. We're all getting all fucked up, whether it's Muslims or whatever the fuck the thing is, right? Cartel, pick a thing. Globalist, pick a thing, right? All these things. but people want to, like, there's that song, Most People Are Good. Like, oh yeah, because I'm looking at the world. It don't fucking look like it.
Yeah, but all you're getting is a negative press. The majority of people are doing good.
That's fine. Well, they're doing good in the shadows, but what?
No, they're not. They're not doing good. Nobody wants to say the guy went to work today. How many millions of people went to work today?
This is the thing I said on X before. I said, so people, I think that people who do this, when it comes to, like, eventually you reach that point in the conversation about societal issues or whatever, and they just throw their hands in the air. I say that people who do that think they're better than Jesus.
No, I don't think so.
Because he bared the burden so they don't have to.
Yeah, but it was such a burden that only one person could do it.
But this is the thing. This is the thing.
He had to walk he had to walk this universe. He had to walk this universe blameless.
But isn't that kind of the point of being a Christian, is to carry your cross?
Yeah, to carry your cross, but I know I'm not perfect. Listen,
it's not
I
about being perfect in this sense. It's not about being perfect.
The part of the Messiah is
nobody's asking you to be a Messiah.
No, but I'm separating me from Jesus because he did it perfectly and then got killed for it. That's
right. As everybody does who does it perfectly.
Nobody does it perfectly, though.
Well, the people that, because he says the thing about the resurrection thing. I think it's more about the truth thing. So I think that Jesus's and Christianity's ultimate claim is that the truth is worth dying for. That's what I think.
That's nice. See, listen, you did this at the end, you fuckstick. Listen, I gotta go, and you.
Let's
you set up a perfect.
Where would you rather be than talking about this right now?
Which I know is just like fucking robots. I'm gonna have to agree at the end, but I was dying on the hill about the resurrection. Now you threw truth in there. You're killing the Smalls. You're killing. You did this at the wrong time, to be honest with you.
Whatever. Listen, where would you rather be than talking about this right now?
We're starting the new one next time with that premise. That was
where
crazy.
Would you rather
we started
be
with
right
light.
Now?
We started with light, and now we're gonna end. We're gonna end right now because I am literally gonna pass out. And don't laugh at me because I'm getting fucking tired.
No, I thought your body could do all these amazing things. What happened?
No, we'll do that next week. We'll do the amazing stuff next week because John needs to be in on that one because you set him up just like you did me too because that was horrible.
What's that?
All right, brother, I gotta let you go.
All right, man, we're out of here.
Peace out.
Fun. We had too much fun for Mike the Man. We out. Jedi out.
Ciao.
Like and subscribe.
Jedi.
Let's get
Ciao.
rocking.